Hey guys, it's Dean. Welcome to the Yoga Body tutorial section. This is crow pose. So I'm going to show you how to do crow pose. Now, I could spend 50 minutes teaching you how to do crow pose. This is going to be the abbreviated version. So what a lot of people don't realize about crow pose is that it takes a lot of hip flexibility, it takes a lot of core strength, and it takes a lot of total body integration. So I'm not just using my upper body to do crow pose. There's a lot of lower body, there's a ton of lower body, and there's a ton of core involved. My goal is to use my lower body and my core to the point where I don't have so much going on in my upper body. Because no matter what I do, I'm still going to be holding up my body with my arms. And I need to make sure that my core is controlling my legs and that my legs are active so that that it makes it easier for the upper body. So the way I'm going to start a crow pose is actually in a squat. So I'm going to have my feet facing slightly out. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work on getting my butt toward the ground and lifting my chest up. So this is the start. And the reason for this is because I need to get my knees into my armpits in order to balance here. If I just bring my knees to my elbows, it's going to be a lot harder. So I need to get my knees as high as I can into my armpits for crow pose. Now I'm also going to reach the tailbone down here, so I'm lengthening my spine and tightening my abs, and that's going to help with the core engagement. So from here, now with the arms, I want you to remember the same thing we would do in a yoga push-up, which means that your biceps are facing forward, and then if your arms bend, your shoulders come forward. Okay, so I'm not coming out like this in the crow pose. That's going to put a lot of an unnecessary stress on the fronts of my shoulders, and that will cause a big imbalance. So with my arms, the biceps are wrapping forward, and the triceps are wrapping back. So keep that arm engagement in mind. And then to get up from the squat, what we're actually going to do is come up onto your toes. And that will enable you to get your knees as high into your armpits as possible. So from here, coming up onto the toes as much as I can, lengthening my chest, and then squatting down, bringing my knees into my armpits as much as I can. Now I've got my hands. I'm going to wrap the biceps forward. Make sure the index fingers are facing forward, the thumbs are facing in. I'm going to screw my hands into the ground, make my forearms really active. Now, instead of looking down and lifting up, I want to pull forward and look forward instead. Now, the easiest way to do this with stability, instead of just lifting both legs off the ground at once, I want you to lift one leg off the ground at a time. So I'm going to lift my left leg up, and then looking forward, lift my right leg up. Squeeze my heels in tight toward my butt. Try to lengthen my abs, so don't let them round. You want to lengthen the abs and pull forward. Elbows are squeezing in. Heels are squeezing toward your butt. You can either flex your toes or point your toes, but just make them active somehow. And then the elbows stay in. Otherwise, you're not going to have that stability. So lots of core and lots of legs. The more core and the more legs I can use to do crow pose, it's going to be way easier for my upper body. You've got your entire body weight in your arms here. So if you're not using your core, if you're not squeezing your legs, it's going to be a lot harder, and you might be putting too much strain in your upper body. Again, just a quick little review. Knees to armpits as much as possible. Lengthening your chest. Instead of looking down, we're looking forward, and you want to make sure to keep the elbows squeezing in. So from this position, one more time, coming up onto the toes, bringing the knees into the armpits, planting my hands firmly, screwing my hands into the ground, squeezing the elbows toward one another, looking forward, coming 1 foot off the ground at a time, squeezing my heels toward my butt, elbows squeeze in toward one another. I'm going to try and lengthen my neck, so I don't want to have my shoulders near my ears. Heels squeezing toward the butt, so legs are really active. Core is very tight, and then slowly coming back down. So that's going to take a lot of practice. It takes a lot of upper body strength, a lot of core strength. You might not have the ability to do it just yet, but if you keep working on these workouts, you will develop the necessary upper body strength, the core strength, and the body control to be able to do crow pose. All right, I'll see you on the workouts.